Welcome to Heart Matter, a podcast about purpose and connection. I am Tina Hensey. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner, medium, and your host. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Hi, Kym. So I want to thank you for coming on the show today and recording this episode with us. We have joining today is Kym Helena, and she is a bioenergy healer, transformational coach. She works with body code, emotion code, and several other techniques. But I wanted to introduce you to the world because you've got so many modalities, and you're just also very pleasant to talk to. But so Kym, how did you get into this work? I mean, I know that's a loaded question, maybe, but
Well, it's an interesting question, and it's an also an interesting answer. So I originally got into this work because of my cat.
Interesting.
Yes, my cat, he adopted me. I had this black cat, and he adopted me, and he had some issues. He had like hip issues and all that stuff, right? So I'm going, okay, well, I don't really want to take on a cat that has all of these health issues.
Yeah.
So as things do, they show up in my inbox, and there was Dr. Bradley Nelson that showed up in my inbox. And so I listened to a webinar with him. I also had my own health issues, so it was very interesting. And so, yeah, I listened to his webinar. It was the emotion code. And right at the end of it, he said, this works really well with animals.
Wow.
So I bought the program thinking I can help myself, but also maybe him.
Yeah.
And I swear within 15 minutes of doing, like learning how to do the work and everything, within 15 minutes, he was fine.
Wow.
What it was his eye teeth had been broken off, both of them, right? They've been broken off. And the eye teeth connect to the hips.
Wow.
Right? In the meridians, right? So, and he had his hip injury, or hip problem. So as soon as I released the trauma from him breaking off his teeth, and I have no idea, right, how he did that, but I released the trauma and the emotions around that, and within 15 minutes, he was fine. Amazing. It was amazing. And I went, okay, I have to do this.
Yeah, you're hooked, right? So can you explain for everybody that doesn't know what is emotion code and body code exactly? Like how does that work in a normal session, say?
Okay, yeah. So I use mostly the body code, but it does encompass the emotion code. So the emotion code is all about emotions, and the body code is how the emotions will affect the body. Okay. Right? So it's basically a combination of ancient Chinese medicine, kinesiology, so muscle testing, and I use a pendulum. Okay. So we can go more into that, which is the same. That's how I get my answers. So so there's muscle testing, kinesiology, there's magnetic therapy, we clear with magnets, and then there's quantum physics.
Okay.
So it is all based on science.
Okay.
And what happens is we connect in with the subconscious mind, which knows everything. Okay. Right? It knows everything that has ever happened in all of your lifetimes, and this life, everything you've ever eaten, everything you've ever said, everything, right? Everything.
Wow. Yeah.
So you tap into that, and then it gives you the answers. Through the muscle testing, you will tap into the answers that you need.
Wow.
To heal your body, clear the emotions, clear the trauma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just amazing. I was referred to you by a friend and a long time ago. And I just remember thinking, now we did this on Zoom, right? Because you're based in Canada. And so we did this on a Zoom session, and you just not knowing anything except for my age and my name. Like, you went in with your pendulum or muscle testing, as you call it, and tapped into some things that I was really shocked that someone knew something that I mean, of course, so, I'm a tad bit intuitive, and I work with the Akashic Records and stuff like that. But I was like, wow, she's not reading me. She's really doing the muscle testing and getting in and talking about my reproductive system because, I've had a lot of issues there in the past and really just getting in. And how does the body know what to get rid of? You know what I mean? We've got several things wrong with us. So, I mean, not wrong,
Yeah, yeah.
but
We have several layers,
okay.
right? It's like peeling an onion. I know I've probably heard that analogy a lot, but it's like peeling an onion and it's kind of like one layer at a time. So your subconscious knows exactly what needs to be healed in
Mm,
that moment,
okay. In that
right?
order, right?
In that order. And also, when um, kind of like sometimes you'll say, well, why didn't that come up before? Because you're not ready,
I
because you're not ready to clear whatever it is. So
wow.
what we do is we bring things to the surface
Mm,
and then we release them because everything is so deeply buried.
okay, gotcha. And is it, I mean, I'm talking about my own experience, but is it normally instant that people will feel that release? Because I felt it with you before where I was like, well, here we go. And you do the releasing process. And it was like, oh, I immediately was different after like a few minutes.
Yes, yes. Not everybody, if you're really sensitive, as you're very sensitive, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to feel it more. Some
Sure.
people don't feel it for like a day, and sometimes it takes 3 days. Some people feel it right away. Sometimes it takes a little while. And sometimes it just depends how thick kind of a person is, right? How buried these emotions are
Okay.
and how they show, their feelings and
Okay.
how
Got
you feel. So everybody is different.
okay.
Everybody feels it a bit differently. Sometimes it can be really profound, and sometimes it can be quite subtle,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting.
But if you see any change at all,
Mhm.
is a good thing. And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better
Gotcha.
because
Okay.
there's other things that need to show up first,
Yeah.
right?
That makes sense. I mean, me, avid, like I love therapy. Like I go to therapy. I've been to therapy for a really long time. I think sometimes I pay my therapist to be my friend, but I do love digging deep and like figuring out what's going on. But they say that in therapy too. Like sometimes when we identify the problem, like it gets worse. It feels bad at first, like really
Yeah,
bad. And then
yeah,
you're like, oh, right. Then you get, you're like the caterpillar into the butterfly and you're feeling better on the other side, right? And
yeah.
and I love that. And I do feel I mean, I feel like over the years working with you that I felt so much lighter just in general. I think that's the consensus of like people that have worked with you. Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. We have all this heaviness.
Yeah.
We've all those emotions, they're so heavy, and the trauma, it's so heavy. And it actually gets into your cellular intelligence,
Oh,
these
okay.
emotions and these traumas,
Mm,
right? They get so deeply hidden and they can be passed down through our ancestors, right? Inherited.
got
And
it.
those are really heavy. And they just keep, something happened to your mother or your father. Say something happened in their life and they trapped emotion of depression. Well, that emotion gets passed down through conception through emotional intelligence or DNA, basically. And then that could be your go-to emotion.
I
So,
see.
or anxiety, right? So whenever something is not going right in your life,
Mm,
right, then you will react with anxiety because that is a very prominent emotion.
wow.
It could be anger or it could be, fear is another one. And all
Mhm.
these emotions are associated with different organs in your
Ah,
body.
okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
that makes
right,
sense.
right. So anger is the liver,
Mm.
fear is associated with the kidneys, and anxiety is the stomach. Right?
Oh,
And then you have like heartache and abandonment and betrayal, which is the heart and the colon.
mm, interesting.
So when you have all of these physical issues,
Mhm.
usually it is from trapped emotion.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in your experience, I mean, have you noticed a pattern of people coming to you when they are just at their end and they just don't know what's going on, or they just feel like I have nowhere else to go, or are you, what is that kind of the?
I do get a lot of that. They've just been suffering with something for so long and they just, they've tried everything else,
Got it.
right? So you go to the doctors, so you do the Western medicine, so there's like, I see there's like four pillars of health, right? So you need, there's a spiritual, there's the mental, there's emotional, and there's the physical. So
Mm,
you can be doing three of those but
mhm.
not the other. And quite often the emotional is the one that gets missed.
I see.
So you can kind of be doing all of the right things. So you think you are, but you're missing the emotional part of it. And
I see.
that's the key.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the
Do
key,
you
right?
work? Yeah, I've noticed too, like, I mean, I'm talking on a spiritual level now because if I look back, like my son, he's super, he's got a lot of intuitive abilities and he was born with it and he doesn't know any other way. But he used to tell me when he was around 2 to 4 years old, it was really big. Like he would talk about his past lives and how this trauma happened in his life, and he couldn't stop talking about, you know, he couldn't stop talking about it. And even like he's 9 now, and it's funny because a few weeks ago we were talking about past lives, and he said, I remember my past life. And he started talking about the same stuff he used to talk about when he was 3. He said, I lived in this really colorful house. It was a round, like a circle house. And I said, do you want a piece of paper? Do you want to draw a picture of it? And he said, yeah. And it was no hesitation. He just started drawing.
Wow.
And he's like, there was a window right here. It was kind of sticking out. And there, I mean, he knew exactly. And I'm like, what are these? He's like, those are like a lot of flowers and stuff like that in front of my house. And I was like, do you remember what color you were? Do you remember what the weather was like? And he's like, not really, but I just remember who my family was. And I said, well, was I there? And he's like, no, but it was another mommy. And he said that, he got his whole basically someone broke into their house is what he was saying. And he used to tell me this story over and over. Somebody broke into my house and they took my mommy and daddy and my sister, and they didn't take me. And it was like really, like, you could tell he was really affected by it, like as if it happened yesterday. So would you say that past lives also, bring up those emotions are trapped in our own bodies now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just got angel bumps when you just told me that story about his mom and dad being taken from him,
Yeah.
right? Or being broken into. I just thought, oh, I get those hits with those angel bumps,
Yeah.
which means it's true.
Yeah, they
Right?
know. Yeah, the
Yeah.
truth bumps. I do feel like if I could look at him and listen to what he's saying, he has a lot of emotion when he talks about it, and it would help so much. Like I know that he's had some sessions with you and everything, but children, they're so they grow up into adults, and we don't even like we want to get those trapped emotions out that we've grown up with, or like maybe we had a crummy childhood, or maybe we just a bad breakup or something, and but we don't think like, hey, past lives could have an effect on us too, and heartbreak in the past, past life or something like that. So do you get that often, like when you're working with your pendulum, that people?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do. And I'll just give you a little bit of my story
Okay.
and how I got into past lives.
Yeah.
Working with past lives, it was me with mine. And I got together with this person, James, in this lifetime. And I, I just all of a sudden had all this resentment towards him, which was not warranted
I
at
see.
all. And I'm going, what is going on? Where is this coming from? And so I started doing some work around it and found out that we had been together in our past life. We lived in Portugal, and I was like a gypsy. But I won't go into sort of that whole story about my
Yeah.
life. What my life was about, because it was quite traumatic. However, I'll just say that we finally got together and we got married, and then I had like 4 miscarriages, and then when I was in my 40s at that time, I found found out all this information through the pendulum.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he was murdered by his lover.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
I lost the fifth child. And
Hmm.
so there was all that resentment. There was all of this like it, and I still have a little bit of it actually.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
But it was that's how you can carry things over. And also I didn't have a rest between my lifetimes,
hmm,
right? Like I was born here in this lifetime in 59 and I died in 1959. So I came right
wow.
through
Wow. Okay,
without a
that's
rest.
yeah, that can happen. I've noticed that too, and I've heard a lot of intuitive people, especially, mediums and stuff like that. They've said, "Oh, it takes like 100 years to come." It doesn't. They decide, right? And so through the pendulum or muscle testing, you found out that you died in 1959 and just came right back and
Yeah.
set up like a U-turn, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I needed to be born into my family. Actually, my parents in this family helped me out in my past life.
oh my gosh.
And I needed to come back. And what's really interesting is that my dad's birthday was October 12th or October 8th, mine October 12th, and my mom October 16th.
Oh,
So kind of just I was right in the middle of both of their birthdays. And my mom was in labor for 3 days.
oh my
So
gosh.
also what I have noticed is when babies are breech,
Mm,
they just from doing a lot of work with kids and in utero and whatever, that they're coming right through. So breech babies, from what I have discovered, come right through.
wow.
And so they're going, I don't think I want to do this again, right? I didn't read
Yeah.
the fine print,
Wow. So,
right?
okay.
And so they're stuck. And
Gotcha.
so I've worked with a few babies in utero that that were breech, and I cleared all of this past life trauma for them,
Wow.
and they turned.
That's incredible.
That yes, and that was the first little baby that I worked with. That's what I did. I had a client that says, "Can you help me?" And I said, "I have no idea." So I worked with them, right? And he turned. But
Oh,
I couldn't believe the realization of how much we bring into this life from our past lives is incredible.
wow. That's so helpful.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
really helpful knowing that, knowing what we know and we're in this like spiritual realm right now of like a lot of people are like getting on the boat, spiritual boat, or they're getting off. Like you got to face your fears or you got to you got to
That's
go.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
have to
so,
face them. We have to face them. We have to clear all of this baggage or all of this heaviness,
mm. Now
right?
can
We have to lighten up, so to speak.
lighten up. Oh my gosh, I know. Isn't that something? I know. I mean, can we just lighten up a little bit? Like the world feels so heavy sometimes, especially lately, and it's like as a collective, I feel like it's kind of like just heavy and like so hard to breathe sometimes. So yeah, I get that. Now can you tell me a little bit about the work that you do with the heart? Because you do follow what the pendulum is saying, like, hey, clear this, clear that, trapped emotion, that, biofilm or whatever it is that you need to clear. But what happens when you say, oh, it's going to your heart wall, like your term is like heart wall showed up. What's a heart wall? And getting into that.
Yeah, yeah. So, everyone who's human and even animals can have heart walls. And
Gotcha.
what it is negative emotions that, you've experienced from different events and things that you've experienced in your life. You have negative emotions, breakups, loss of a parent, loss of a child, whatever. And in order for the heart to be protected from actually being broken, the subconscious builds up a wall.
Mm,
And so over time, it just gets thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker with all of these emotions. There
mm,
can be ancestral, so inherited heart wall emotions, again, being passed down through conception. And
right.
then there's past life emotions, right? They carry a lot of mileage,
Wow.
right? Past life heart wall emotions. And these are just negative emotions. It's all emotions, negative emotions that just keep building up and building up and building up. So you can have like 3,000 miles
Wow.
of emotions. If you have that many, then you have a lot of past life.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the body isn't always ready to blast open your heart,
Mhm.
right? You have to heal it a little bit first before you can do that.
Yeah.
So I always wait for, doing sessions. I wait for the heart wall to show up as an underlying cause. And
Mm.
then I know that the person is ready.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it takes just 3 sessions to clear all of those emotions
Yeah.
out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do children have them too? Heart
Yeah.
walls? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I know that when they used to teach this in the body or the emotion code, that there was a hidden heart wall, and they don't now, but I still find a hidden heart wall.
Mm.
Hidden is a magic word
Yeah.
because we tend to hide so many things, right? So, if something doesn't make sense, I'll just go, is it hidden? It goes, oh, yeah, here it is.
And then it's not hidden anymore,
I
right?
just have
It's
to
like
ask, right?
it's yeah, it's out now. Now it's not hiding.
Right. So I'll finish clearing the heart wall. I'm going, okay, anything in your heart wall? No, no, no. Is there a hidden heart wall? Oh, yes, there is. You go back. Is there a heart wall? No. Is there a hidden heart wall? Oh, yes. Right.
Oh,
So,
wow.
oh, yeah. So the subconscious is very protective, but
Wow.
you do have to ask and it can't lie.
Okay, gotcha. It's
So,
incredible. Oh, I love that so much. So how
and that's so important. Just another thing on the heart wall is it's super important in any way possible that you can clear that heart wall, clear it.
okay.
Like if you do nothing else, clear the heart wall because we heal from our hearts,
Mm.
right? And it's all about love,
Yeah.
right? And what the heart wall does when it's there is it makes it difficult to give and receive love
Okay.
freely.
Right. So the benefits of clearing the heart wall would be just to be open and being able to receive love again. Anything else that you notice that you feel like,
Well, it can be physical. It can turn into some physical issues, right? So if you have chronic neck and shoulder pain,
mm,
because we hold so many emotions in here.
gotcha.
And so you'll go for a treatment and then it just keeps coming back. That could be from the heart wall. Heart
Oh,
palpitations, high blood pressure, like any heart stuff.
interesting.
You need to clear those emotions.
Okay. And once they're gone, can they come back? Or, I mean,
Well, it takes years and years and years and years and years to build up that wall, but yes,
okay.
yes, you can start a new one.
Okay.
but hopefully you're doing the work so that you can recognize that and not and process those emotions as you feel them,
Okay.
as opposed to just holding on to them or trapping them in your body. And those are all
Okay.
unprocessed emotions.
Okay.
We need
And
to
then
learn to process. Yeah.
yeah, we've got to do that. So then you've also got um different aspects of your services which you can dive into on top of body code and emotion code, right? Like an abundance program. Can you tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about the abundance release?
Okay.
Or
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
release, maybe you can help me.
Yes.
Heard
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes. So the abundance program is amazing, as well as I have a relationship program as well, and that is all actually through Dr. Bradley Nelson, the body code. So we go into that. I just kind of add a few things to it, but we have all these blocks to abundance. We have all these beliefs. We have all these different vibrations that are, the frequencies that are vibrating in our body, like money is evil. Maybe we heard that as a child. It's programmed.
Like a belief system.
A belief system. It's programmed in. It could be anything. You're not deserving of money. People who have money are bad. I'm not worthy of abundance. I'm not. I mean, there's 4 pages of these beliefs, and
Gotcha.
we need to resolve them.
Okay.
So what we do is we check at the beginning, and most people who are doing the program are in 100% lack mode.
Oh, okay. Can you explain that to me? What's a lack mode?
So there's lack mode, there's stagnant mode, and there's abundance mode.
Ah,
So you're either in the goal is to get to 100% abundance mode,
I
and
see.
then most people or a lot of people are in 100% lack mode, and
Right.
that means that they're not worthy of abundance. They're not, it's really hard to get ahead in life because, I mean, for me too, I mean, that program actually changed my life
Wow.
and my relationship with money,
Great. Wow.
right? It was like, because I was, no matter how much money I made, I had this belief that if I made any more than I needed, right? Like it was this belief from childhood. So
Wow.
every time I made more money than I needed, it would be somehow taken away.
I see.
So I'd be scammed, or something would break down, or, it was just really hard to get ahead. I always had what I needed,
Yeah.
didn't have more than I needed. So when I did this program, that's all stopped. And I
Amazing.
can tell when I'm in lack mode because sometimes, there'll be a trigger
Mm.
and then it'll, say you get this huge, get mail from, I don't know, from IRA or in here in Canada, CRA or something. Oh, you owe, $30,000 or something. And it's like, well, I'm in lack mode, right? So
Okay.
then there's a belief that has come back in or has been activated, and you just clear the belief and everything's fine again. It's
Wow.
quite remarkable.
Wow.
And I was
So,
just going to say that in the relationship program as well, it's like if you've been having trouble with relationships, right? So having trouble, well, mainly the relationship with yourself, because that's where it starts,
right. Oh, that's where it
right?
starts, right?
That's where it starts. And so maybe having difficulty in relationships,
Mm.
um, and all kinds of relationships. It's not just romantic relationships.
I
So
see.
the same concept is all these beliefs or limiting beliefs, different frequencies and vibrations that are basically blocking you
Mm.
from moving forward. And then in the relationship program, it is there's connection mode, harmony mode, and nurture mode.
Mm.
So we can also be in discord,
Okay.
right? 100% discord or conflict or isolation.
Ah, wow.
So we just work up through them until you're 100% in all those areas.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. And I feel like the belief systems, I mean, I'm going back to a past life too. Like I'm like, oh, that belief system with the relationships, that could also affect like no reason to believe I didn't, deserve any kind of abundance, but maybe in my past life something happened, and then that belief system gets ingrained in us, right? Don't you agree? Yeah.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of past life stuff. And there's karma too, right?
Oh,
You can have like past life, well, from past lives, like negative karma, financial karma from past lives. You can have negative relationship karma from past lives. Maybe betrayal. Maybe there's a betrayal karma from past lives. Maybe there's communication. Like there's many different karmas that can be also, um, you know, play a role.
oh
They're
my
so complex.
Yes, I know. And it's just like what we don't know, we don't know, right? So it's like this is great that I'm talking with you because a lot of people just don't know. We can access this in our subconscious, and you are sort of like a medium to help, detect and decode, right? And then
Yes,
release
yes,
what you
yes,
said.
yes,
And I just feel like with the past life stuff, it's really so much more prominent than we think. And it is a little bit like what I say, woo woo, but it's just so real. It's like a real thing. And so
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is. And we're here, like we keep coming back,
mm,
right? Reincarnating, coming back to learn these lessons that we didn't learn in the previous life.
I see.
Or maybe, learning the lessons or perhaps teaching something
Okay.
from it, right? So we keep coming looping back. And I mean, my goal is just not to come back.
Right. It's like, okay,
I
it's a
don't want to
great
come
honor.
back.
Yeah. Like I thank you. I feel so honored to be here on earth, but dang, like what else do you want me to do? I know. I get that a lot. It's so funny. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to go back to karma. So when you talk about karma, it's, the cause and effect, the give and take of the universe, right? But also like of our actions. There's always consequences to our actions, and no matter what, it always happens that way. And so, I hear people say a lot like, I'm such a good person, but all this stuff is bad happening to me. And I've heard you say over and over, this is not happening to me. This is happening for me. That's like a Kym, that's like a Kym quote. Like,
It's not, but it is. I
it's
use
not
it
what
a
it is.
lot.
But I just like it's ingrained in my mind. And so, I love that so much. But when you detect this karma in somebody's body or their field or quantum field, as you would say, are we able to clear that and release it, or do we have to play the role of,
No, we can
okay,
clear it.
I see.
We can clear it, but it will only show up when you're ready.
I see. Got it.
So, perhaps you need to do some work before that. Perhaps some things need to happen before you can clear it. And
Okay.
it only comes up when you're ready. And that's the beauty of working, doing this work is it's very safe.
Yeah.
It's very safe, right? So nothing's going to show up that you're not ready to clear. It may not feel like that
Mhm.
kind of after, after
Yeah.
the session, it may not feel like that, but it is. Then again, why is this happening for me? Magical words
Yes.
instead of to me, where it just, when you say to, it's just like it kind of cringe in, and it's like, oh, why is this happening to me? And then you're in victim mode,
Yeah.
right? And when you say, why is this happening for me, it just opens everything up, and it allows, the universe to give you some answers, to provide the answers.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah,
sense. And so
yeah.
when you're opening yourself up, you're almost like, okay, I love that you do it in front of me in the Zoom. And then also, we release together, but it's like really the list that you send an email after just explaining what you detected and decoded and released, right? And it's like your first initial reaction would be like, "Oh my God, like I had all of that. Like, what's wrong?" Like, I want to just criticize myself. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm like creating more trapped emotions. Like, I'm criticizing, like, where have I been? Like, yes, I was resentful of that. Yes, I was. What age did it happen? It happened at 9. Oh my gosh, I remember that. And why did I hold on to that for so many years? Or why was I so dark? And everybody has it. And I love that it's just like, yeah, we detected, and thank God we detected it, we decoded it, and we released it, and now just let it go. And it's just almost nice to see the list like, bye, like saying, bye bye, bye bye,
Exactly.
trapped emotions.
Don't
Right.
get reattached to those things, right? It
Right.
is about letting it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and once it's gone, it's gone. We work with the spirit body. And that's how they, I mean, it's gone instantly from the spirit body, and then it manifests into the physical body. So that's why it takes, 1 to 3 days to process through, but it's gone.
Wow.
I mean, it's gone. There might be, say, you can have many, 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 many different emotions of anxiety,
Okay.
right? So, different layers of anxiety. So you can have like many, many, many.
Yeah.
So you can clear one anxiety or three anxieties from age 9, and then, there's a whole bunch more anxieties.
Okay.
But,
Got
yeah, so there can be another.
Gotcha.
There can be another.
It's
But
nice because it never ends as long as you're willing to let go, right? And I just feel like now, do people come to you and usually like for like the emotional, or they're like, Hey, I went to the doctor. They say nothing's wrong. My stomach still hurts. I don't know what's going on. Like they found nothing. My stomach is in knots all the time. Obviously something's going on." So is that something that you address that area of the body, or you just, how does that work usually?
yeah, I can work on specific areas, but what I find is that it's not going to be one thing. It's going to be a combination of things, and probably about 10 different,
Gotcha.
right? So, we're looking at the diet, and it will all show up. What is needed will all show up. Quite
Amazing.
often it's trauma and emotions, but
Okay.
there could be, maybe the person's not sleeping, maybe they're eating foods that they're intolerant to,
Yeah. Dairy, maybe dairy.
right?
Yeah. Or something like that.
Dairy, gluten, grains, you know, it could be many things. It could, and then it could be some trauma that they experienced. And also, some things will not show up in the physical body for like 30 years, 40
Wow.
years,
Mm.
right? It can take years for these things to manifest to the point where you're actually feeling it. And then the body goes, excuse me, I think that we need to deal with this now. So when we have pain and different things going on in our body, it is our body telling us that there's something wrong. So we need to send love to those areas and
Okay.
not be, oh, my stupid leg or my stupid foot or my stupid knee. You know what I mean? Like how we do,
Yeah.
right? It's like, oh, it's stupid, no, 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 no. Just send love and
Yeah.
say, thank you for letting me know that there's something, something is off, something's wrong,
Right. Yeah.
right?
And I like that too. I mean, I'm the first one to be like, hey, oh, my knee. I don't know what's going on with my knee lately. And it's like my left knee, it's always the left side of my body. And it's like, what's the left side of the body? And it's like, oh, and you said something, that's the feminine side of our body. And the right side is our male side of the body. Like what male is agitating you or why can't you move with your knee, or
Move forward, maybe. There's something preventing you from moving forward. So there's all these metaphysical stuff that could be going on as well.
yes, I love that. Oh my gosh. Um,
Yeah.
well, so now you are quite busy. Like I feel like you are quite busy.
Yeah.
You're doing this full time. And um, how do people get a hold of you? I love your website, by the way, the alternativehealthdetective.com. That's like the best words to describe you. It's like, oh, no, I get it. Okay. You're
Yeah.
detective. So how did they get a hold of you if they wanted to do that?
Okay. So the best way to get a hold of me is email.
Okay.
So it is Kym, Kym, at thealternativehealthdetective.com. That is a long email. Or it can be just Kym, Kym, at kymhelena.com.
Okay. All right.
Those will work. And that is the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah,
That's great. And so do you teach anyone how to, I mean, I know you give your little pearls of wisdom to people when you're working with them, but have you ever taught anybody how to do it or it's kind of a
no,
training?
because it's Dr. Bradley Nelson, it's his modality.
I see.
So, if you're interested in doing the emotion code body code or looking at that, then you just go to his website, which is no, that's a different one. It is Discover Healing,
Oh, okay.
discoverhealing.com. I can't teach it
Gotcha.
because that's his thing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great. Okay,
yeah.
that
But
took quite a while, right? Like it takes quite a while, quite a bit of training to be able to do something like that.
it you have to learn how to do it first, and then the certification, then you can either just learn it. He's got a book, he's got an emotion code book and a body code book,
Okay,
right? So you can learn it that way. If you're wanting to be a practitioner, that's a whole other story.
I see.
Then you've got to, again, go through more training, and then you need to work with people, and then you send in the results of the people that you worked in and stuff. They give you 6 months
I
to do
see.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And they
Okay.
now, again, I don't know if you even know this, there's the belief code.
Oh, let's talk about that. Belief.
Yes, the belief code. And I have something else exciting to talk to you about too, if we
Oh,
have time.
okay. Oh, I
So
can't.
something new.
Yeah.
So the belief code is now again an extension of Dr. Bradley Nelson's Discover Healing, and it all goes really deep into beliefs.
Wow.
So say let me see, give an example. Well, even just say you're experiencing all of this lower back pain.
Mm,
That could be something. And then we go into, we work specifically with that
okay.
and find out if there's any programming and associations and everything with that. We
Mm,
know what that's causing or um, not really causing. Let me just kind of start over here.
sure.
So we work with, it's kind of like the tree of life. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it?
Oh, barely. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can see. Is that selenite? Yep. Cool.
Right.
Yep.
So the leaves are the programming,
Okay.
and the trunk is I'm just trying to get my sequence here, are like the limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
And then you go into the root structure here, and those are the false core beliefs.
Wow.
And then there's not always, or that's the false core belief. And then there's another belief down here that can be, we don't always have them, but they're like feeding the roots.
See.
And so we work through all of those sequences to find out what the statements are, and they're all working through the chakras,
Wow.
working through the chakras, and all of these statements pertaining to love and family. Maybe it's your heart chakra, so it's about love,
Mm.
but it can go into family, it can go into, relationships, and can go into different categories. So anyways, we get led through the pendulum and everything we get, through all of these beliefs and limiting beliefs and programming and, core beliefs. And then we go through all associated imbalances to those beliefs that you've picked up along the way through all of your life.
Oh my gosh. That's
And then there's a gap. We call it the subconscious gap. So,
mm,
when you remove something, in this system, we replace it.
okay.
We either defrag,
Yeah.
right? So it's like taking a book out of a bookshelf and you have a gap, so
Okay.
subconscious gap. So
Mm.
we either need to fill in all those gaps or just bring them all together. So defrag. It's
Okay.
quite amazing.
Wow. It sounds so scientific and yet so necessary. Gosh, I'm gonna have to make another appointment now.
But I
I
have something
love.
even better.
Oh yeah, tell us. Tell us. Oh,
So
I'm eating this
I'm
up now.
so I'm now working with an app called Healing Remembered.
Okay.
And it's Kate Elliott, and she is a body code practitioner, but she's now developed this beautiful app. And it was like the easy entity release
Yes.
app, right? So it's beautiful. And it's more works on the spiritual side of things.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And it goes deeper than the heart wall.
Okay.
And it goes into the physical and heart awakening
Mm.
and still does the entity stuff. And what else has it got in there? Anyway, it's beautiful.
Oh, I can't, that's so amazing. And so when
And
you
it's
say
got
entity,
light language in it and stuff. It's got meditations and light language that I send the clients. And so
oh,
activate and stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful.
wow, that is so nice. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing to know what information could be and is available to us and this is exactly why I had you on because sometimes I'm like, I tell my husband, I'm like, this is, I worked with Kym today. He's like, oh, do you feel better? He's like, okay. He's always happy for me. I'm always doing all these little things. And,
Yeah,
um, and he says, what does she do exactly? And I try to explain it like, well, we go in, we have like these trapped emotions in our body and they cause physical ailments or they could later. And he's like, and he's like, and then we release him. He's like, wow, okay. He's very like, he's open to it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I just try to explain it to him and he says, okay. Like, but I'm like, that is like, no, it's like a fingernail sliver of like what she does. So I'm not sure how to,
I know, you know what? I have trouble just kind of describing because you actually have to experience it,
yes,
like just to talk, like it's great to talk about it, but you really have to experience it to kind of get the idea. It's so complex and it's so like, um, it's so deep.
yeah,
And it's like it's quantum healing,
yeah,
basically, right? Bioenergy quantum healing, where you're going much deeper than the surface. And there's so many things we have no idea.
yeah. It's
And
crazy.
I mean, I've been doing this work for 10 years
Okay.
and I'm still clearing,
Yeah,
right? So you can go as deep as you want to go
yeah,
because there's millions and millions of different lifetimes.
yeah. I love, yeah. And you know what I love? I'm going to tell you this. This is coming to mind right now. Is like, I love that I can like refer my clients and stuff like that to you and even men. And it's like, oh, I have to tell my, like, I feel like, oh, you mean I have to tell my story all over again? Absolutely not. You don't have to tell a story. You just get in front of the Zoom and she does the work. And it's like, it feels so like you're just lovingly, going in and just figuring it out and letting it go. You don't have to tell a story, you don't have to start all over again. Just go get it done. Yeah. And you can do it from anywhere. Zoom just works. Energy is energy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's just I think, I mean, for me, I mean that I started it, and it helped me immensely with my physical ailments as well as my emotional stuff that I was experiencing. And I always experience, like, whatever I'm doing, I experience it myself first
I see.
before I will, bring it into my practice,
Yeah,
right?
that's good. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that. Yes, thank you for
always.
saying. Yeah. Thank you for doing that work on yourself because I know you do help tons of people, but there are practitioners that just do that and then they're not successful because they're not working on themselves at the same time. And that's why you're abundant. And that's why, and I really honor you for that. And I'm sure everyone else does too. And it's great to know, like, hey, I experienced that too. When this happened to me, this is what I, experienced. And it's really great to know. So you service not only humans, but animals too.
Yes, I do.
Um,
Yes,
the
yes.
womb, past life healing, current life healing, and oh, there's just so much more. And you know, a lot of people come to me too, and they feel like I'm so depressed. All of a sudden, it just came on, and I have a thought or an intuitive hit, like, gosh, it's maybe you just need an entity release, and then
Oh,
you might go there first before, assuming that it's like this thing that it might not be. Yeah.
yeah. So getting into the entities, and right now, oh my goodness, there's so many.
Mhm.
So what people don't know, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, when they're not sleeping
Yeah.
and they're waking up and they've got these loops, right? Like these negative loop patterns, and they can't get out of the pattern.
Yeah.
So they're not sleeping very well. They're irritable. They're probably eating crap food,
Mhm.
right? They can't ground,
Right.
right? So if you're a meditator, you're going to have difficulty meditating because you're not grounded, and they're entities,
Yeah.
and you feel heavy and fatigued and tired and negative, and you go, "What's going on?" It's entities,
Yeah.
and they're so simple to clear,
Yeah.
and about 2 months ago,
Mhm.
2 months ago, could have been longer. All of a sudden, there was like a rush of entities that needed to be released.
Oh, right. I felt that too.
Right? For everybody,
Wow.
millions of them.
Mm.
And I was just, like I said, I have no idea what's going on right now, but this is what I'm getting to clear. And so I'm clearing them. And, I had 907,000
Yeah.
hidden,
Yeah.
deeply hidden entities. And I went, whoa, okay, where are these? Right? But I felt so much happier after. And I do this work all the time, but it was something shifted. And
Got
so I just say thank you to all my clients. I go, thank you for clearing the darkness from the planet, helping to clear the darkness from the planet.
Yes. Now,
Yeah,
so I'm back to your pendulum again. Do you have your pendulum?
do.
Because I just think of you in my mind with your pendulum.
I do. I have my pendulum right here.
And, just do you ever clear from the collective or are you not allowed? I mean, it's kind of hard because,
I really wish I could,
yeah, I
but
know.
it's all about free will.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, I can clear. Good question. I asked that question about all these entities because I just wish I could clear the whole world.
Yeah.
And I received a no. Now that's my no, right?
Okay.
So I received a no. So the people that I'm clearing for are the people that I need to clear for,
I see.
right? So I mean, if I mean, there's a lot of other people that I are probably doing the same thing, and
Yeah.
that's their soul, their soul tribe, there's their nomadic group or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people doing this,
Gotcha.
like clearing entities and clearing these dark forces.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wish I could.
Yeah, but it's
The
nice. I mean,
world would be a different place.
yeah, and that's not like, and I mean, I think it's so great that you have that relationship with your pendulum too, because it's really shown people. I mean, there's people that it's just too hard. It's just too hard. We're too like we gotta really practice that feeling of like, right, I don't know if you feel like this, but of letting go of the ego and just allowing to trust the angels to guide your pendulum, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah. Neutrality.
Neutrality.
You have to be totally neutral,
Yeah. I had
totally neutral.
somebody
I
say,
mean, if people have said to me, said, well, well, I can make the pendulum do whatever I want to. And I
huh?
went, well, yeah, but why would you?
Yeah.
That defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I would say, give me a yes, and that's my yes. Give me a no, that's my no. This is my clearing mode.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm clearing something and it's not quite cleared yet, it'll just go, I call it clearing mode, and it'll just, I mean, it just kind of goes really quickly. And then it'll go in the yes mode once it's cleared.
I see.
So, I mean, and there's a lot of other different movements that the pendulum can have, but that's basically the ones that I use, and that works for me. But it's really important to be neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely say it's not for everyone.
No,
You know?
some people like I didn't. So the whole program, the body code and the emotion code at that time was all muscle testing. They didn't even offer the pendulum or anything,
Oh,
to teach you how to do that. And
okay.
I was not confident in the answers I was getting because there can be different variables, right? You can have a misalignment in your back or your neck, or you could be, hydration is a big one. When I'm getting sort of odd answers where I go, this doesn't feel right, I will just drink some water and my connection, and then I'm reconnected. So hydration is huge.
Wow.
For muscle testing, for pendulum, like you need to be hydrated.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
So,
makes sense.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, so much information, so many good things. I'm just thanking you for being on this planet and doing your mission work here and just, everybody that you've helped my family so much. And I'm just eternally grateful for you. And I'm just hoping that you can come on again and we can talk about more specific things. And that would be fun to hear.
Yeah, I
And
would love to. I'd
yeah.
love to. And when I get more practiced in this new application, it's really good.
Oh,
It's
wonderful. Okay.
really, I'm loving it.
Great. Oh my
So,
gosh. And it's like, what I just hear is like freedom. I just hear, you just want to be free and light and be on your path and have follow your heart to your bliss, whatever that might be, right? And without any blocks or bushes or anything in the way, just just walk
be,
right through.
do what you're here to do, right? And be
Yeah.
who you are to be. And oh, it's all about the heart.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Thank you
It's
for
all
reminding
about the heart. So we need to open our hearts.
me. Okay.
And this is, when basically fear is the absence of love.
Mm,
And we need to be more in love.
yes.
So all that fear needs to just dissipate and go away because we just need to be in love, and the world would be a different place as well.
It starts right here, right? With ourselves.
Right
And
here.
I
Yeah.
really, I really feel that on a deep level. So thank you for reminding us, and I can't wait to see you again. And I just can't wait to share you with everyone. And I just hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
I will. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be on your show and to be able to
Yeah,
share
I
information.
know. Oh my,
Lovely to see you.
it's great to see you too, Kim. We'll see you later.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.